Hi guys, welcome once again to Victory Design and to a continuation of our class on web development. Today we're going to be discussing advanced conditionals in programming. And I'm so glad to have you here guys, and I hope you are ready to dive into some fascinating concepts that will significantly enhance your coding skills. Today we'll be exploring the topic advanced conditionals, right? Advanced conditionals in programming. It's more like an in-depth topic of conditionals that we've already been discussing in our previous class. Alright? So guys, first thing we're going to talk about today is what we call the truthy and falsy values. The truthy and falsy values. Now if you are in programming, you'll be making use of truthy and falsy. Now guys, first of all, we all know what truth is, right? That which is a boolean. Truthy and falsy values stem from boolean values, of which boolean values is a what? A data type in programming. So the truthy and falsy values is a concept that we need to understand in programming because they are essential for writing effective conditional statements in your code, which allows your program to make decisions based on different conditions. Let's get started, guys. The first thing I want to know is that in JavaScript, every value has an inherent boolean value that determines whether it is considered truthy or falsy when evaluated in a boolean context. Now, this concept is fundamental because it affects how conditional statements operate in your code. The first thing we have is the falsy value. But which these falsy values are those values that evaluate to false when checked in a boolean concept, right? And then we have the truthy values, which are those values that evaluate to true. Now, understanding this distinction, like understanding the difference between the truthy and the falsy value, is very crucial when you are trying to control the flow of your program effectively. All right. So, guys, let's go extensively into what the falsy value is all about. Now, the falsy value, right, in JavaScript consist of six values. They consist of six values. That is the falsy. The falsy consists of six values, of which the first one is what we call false. That is the boolean value itself, false. Then we have the number zero, which is treated as falsy in conditional expressions. Remember that I said that when you are talking about conditional expressions, that JavaScript converts true to true to become what? To become one, right? It converts true to become one, and then it converts false to become what? Zero, right? That's what I said. I've been saying continuously and previously in our previous class. So the first value is what? The first false value is the false itself. That's it is boolean value false itself. Then number two, we have the number zero. That's the number zero, which is treated as a falsy in conditional expression, right? And then and then let me just take this off. So number one is that one is what? One is equal to, so I said that we have six values, right? Six false values. Six false values. The first one is the false itself, right? And then the second one, number two, is what? Number two is what? Is the zero. That's when the false has been converted, it becomes zero, right? That's number two. Number three is what? Number three is the empty string. That's this guy. Let me just say three. Number three is what? The empty string, right? Of which this empty string has no character and is thought evaluated as false. So JavaScript reads this empty string as a false. As far as this string does not have anything in between it, like inside of it, it is evaluated to be false. So it is a falsy value. Then number four falsy value that we have in JavaScript is null. Null. Whenever you see null appear or whenever you want to make use of null, just know that null is a falsy value that represents you intentionally removing any object value. So when you see null, null is a falsy value, right? And null represents intentionality in removing any object value. So when you deliberately, like you intentionally remove the value, let me say you have a code, right? Whereby let me say you have variable var, maybe var John, right? John is equal to what? Is equal to a string. Let's say 12, for example. And then instead of us having this now this tall is the value. This tall you can see here is the value. Now if we intentionally remove this guy and then we just edit like when you put this code into our console, we are going to get null. So null itself is a falsy value in JavaScript. Alright. Then number 5 is undefined. Number 5 is undefined, right? Undefined indicates that a variable has been declared but has not been assigned a value. You get? So it's almost the same thing as what I just gave just now, that when you declare a variable and then you don't assign it a value, it will give you undefined in your browser. So undefined is also a falsy value. And the last but not the least that we have on types of falsy value is what we call the NaN, which is NaN, which is not a number. It means not a number, and it indicates that an undefined that any particular thing is an undefined or unpresentable numeric result. Means that that particular thing they are giving to you is undefined. Let me say, for example, you are trying to divide a string by a number. String is a different that type of number. You cannot divide a word by a number. That is extremely wrong. So when you try to do something like that, you are going to get none, which is not a number. Okay. So now these 6 things you see here, guys, are the 6 type of falsy values you have. Now let's practicalize that in our code. Let's work that in practice and see how that actually works. Now let's say, for example, we have an empty string. If then in bracket we have an empty string, right? And then we come here, we say then we should print out console.log console.log this value is truth. For example, this value is truth, right? And then we say else else print out that console.log this value is faulty, right? This value is false. Okay. Now, guys, let me explain what this code is doing. Now, the empty string that you see me use here is evaluated within the if statement. Now, if it is a false value, the output will be the value is false. But if it is actually a truth value, it will evaluate as the value is true. Do you understand, guys? So this particular thing you are seeing here, this is an empty string, right? Normally, this empty string is what is a falsy value. If I should put this code now into my browser, it's going to give me that the value is actually falsy. Why? Because this code itself is a falsy value, right? So guys, please get that. Please get that. There's that this. Let me just actually put that into my browser and see what it will display to me. Now let me put this into my browser, control copy. Remember guys that an empty string is a falsy value. So it's supposed to console.log, or it's supposed to print out for me this value is false, right? So let's just do that and control paste and see what it gives us. You see guys, it gave us what? This value is false. That's because JavaScript analyzes this value, this string. And of course, this string is what? It is a falsy value. So therefore, it gives us this value is false. You get. And so that's actually how it works, guys. And now let's talk about truthing. Now this everything I did here, everything here is what I call falsy, right? They are all falsy values. Now let's talk about truthy values, right? Let's talk about truthy values. Okay. Now truthy value to start with is any value that is not one of these 6 falsy values. You get any value that is not among these six false values is called a truth value. So any value you have that is not in this list is a truth value. So we have different examples of which a few of them is number one, any non-zero number is a truth value. Like any number that is not zero. You get like when I say not zero, that means any number apart from zero is what is a truth number, which stems from number one, two, three, four till to infinity. Like okay, and it also includes decimals, right? And it also includes decimals and negative numbers. That means that means so let me just say number one. Number one type of truth value is any number that it does not include zero. So let me just say any number apart from zero, right? Apart from what? From zero. So of which examples we can have of which examples we can have say number one is a number one, two, three, four, five to infinity, and we can also have negative numbers that's minus five, sorry, minus five, right? Minus five, minus 100, minus 120, that's negative numbers. And we can also have decimals, that's 6.6.7, 10.1, and thereabout. So those all these ones are what we call what? Any number apart from zero is what we call a truth number. Alright. Then going forward, number two type of truth value, right, is called what? Non-empty string. That means any string that is not empty. Remember guys that this one in false values, this string is empty, so it is a false value. But any string that is not empty is a truth value. Let's say we create a string and then put a value inside like 12 for example. That this is automatically a string, right? Now this particular thing you are seeing here, this non-empty string is what we call a truth value, right? This non-empty string is what we call a truth value. All right. The number three type of truth value is what we call object. Yes, object. Of course, in the future class, we're going to discuss a lot about object, but object is a truth value. Of which in object we have this curly braces, of which eg we have curly braces. This guy we have curly braces. Then we also have arrays, which is this guy. Whatsoever is inside this particular guy, this one here is also an array. So object, we have this anything inside a curly brace is an object, and everything inside this particular thing you are seeing here is also an array. So and arrays, object and arrays, let me just put this, object and arrays are truth values. Okay, objects and arrays are truth values. And then the last one we'll be discussing for today, the last type of truth value we're discussing for today, guys, is what we call the Boolean value true. Alright, that is true. So false values, false itself is a false value, and true itself is a truth value. Alright, so that is exactly how it is. Now let's actually see if this is true. Now let me say I do the same thing from here. Let me just copy this code here and put it here. Okay. And then let's change this particular string to something else, to a truth value. Let's say now number one type of truth value is what? Any number apart from zero. Let's say we put 6.7 and we have there. Now let's place this on our console and see if it is correct. Now press enter. You see guys, it gave us this value is truth because the JavaScript has read this value that it is a zero, it is a number apart from zero, and any number apart from zero is a truth value. That is why it gave us this value is truth. So do you see guys? So please know that understanding all these concepts is very crucial because they affect how your conditional statements behave. If you remember these 6 specific false values, guys, you can easily determine if any other value is true if you know them. So like I said before that once you know this, just cram or just know these six false values. If you have them at the back of your mind, any other value is automatically truth. Any other value that is not amongst these six false values are automatically true. Alright. So this knowledge actually allows you to write more robust and error-free code. So now the other thing we are going to discuss today, guys, is what we call ternary operators. Yes, ternary operators, guys. Ternary operators. Ternary operators actually is an operator that provides a shorthand way to write simple conditional statements, thereby making your code cleaner and more concise. Yes, it's like what I call a shorthand way of writing your conditional statement in a very simple way. So by making instead of you writing a long, like all these long code you are seeing here, all these long code you are seeing here, you can write it in a very shorter form, and this will make your code to be cleaner and more concise. Okay. So now this particular thing you are seeing here, guys, is an example of a ternary operator. It's an example of a ternary operator, of which I will be diving deep into what this thing means. Of course, looking at this, you might be confused that why is this question mark here? Like what is happening here? Now, the first thing is that let me tell you guys how the ternary operator works. Right? Now, this first thing you are seeing here is what we call the condition. Let me put this into my code, right? To be easier for me to explain. Let me take this off. But let me take this off, this guy off. Okay. And then let me just continue from here. Okay, guys. Now let's continue from the first this particular first ternary operator. Now let's say condition. That means a condition question mark. So guys, let's say condition then question mark. Okay. Expression if true, and then expression if false. Expression if what? It's false. Right? And then semicolon. So now this is actually a type of code, guys. This is what we call a ternary operator, of which we have condition, question mark, expression if true, colon, I can see here, expression if false. Now, what does this line of code mean? Now, this condition will be evaluated for. That is why we have this question mark. This condition is the first one that will be evaluated for. This is the condition. Just like we have this code. Let me just copy a particular code that has if and else. Let's check for one good. And let me copy this code and give an example. To copy. Let me just bring that one here so I can explain to you guys. Okay. Now guys, I'm looking at this thing. If you look at this code, right? If you be following me in my previous class, you should know that this particular thing you are seeing here is the condition. So just carry this now looking at this code, carry this condition and put it here. This guy here, this is the condition. Copy it and put it here. So this thing you are seeing here, guys, is more like a formula. The formula is that this first thing here is the condition, right? This one is the condition, right? Then question mark. Then here now is the expression if true, expression if false. So this expression is true is this guy you are seeing here, right? Do you understand, guys? Let me just put this one here. Question mark. Then if this condition is true, this code will display it is a hot day, right? So let's copy that one and put it here. Paste. Or if the condition is false, which is it is a cool day, it should display this guy. So we'll put it here to copy and then put it here to paste. So guys, this is what we call a ternary operator. It is a shorthand way of writing this very long code. Means that this code now has how many lines of code? It has line 1, right? Line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, and line 6, right? But now this whole thing, the whole thing that is happening here, guys, this whole code is the same thing as this code you are seeing here. This whole thing you are seeing here. It's the same thing, but written by just one line of code. That is what ternary operators do. They provide a shorthand way to write simple conditional statements, and they work for only conditional statements. So it is a simple way of writing conditional statements. Instead of writing plenty lines of code, you can just write just one line of right? You can just write just one line of code. So guys, let's actually see it in action. Let me see. This is just me. This is the formula of it, guys. Formula of a ternary operator. The first thing that you have your condition followed by a question mark. Then you now have expression if it is true. That means if that condition is true, what should it display? You put it here. Column, right? And then the expression is false. What should it display? You put it here. This is like a formula. So let me just put this one here. This is what we call a ternary operation, ternary operation, ternary, ternary operation what? Ternary operation formula. This is the formula, guys. So please do take note of this. This is the formula. The first is you have your condition followed by a question mark. That's what do you want to happen? Then if the condition is true, you put it here. If it is false, you put it here. Do you understand, guys? So let's take this one off and then let's actually practicalize what we are or what will be discussed. So now let's say for example, we want to see make use of that example that I have been making use of about if someone wants to vote, right? So if you are up to the age of 18, you can vote. But if you are not, you cannot vote. So now let's just say let's age, right? Okay, now let's age. Let's say a boy wants to vote. So we'll say let boy age, right? Is equal to what? Is equal to 18, right? And then let's vote. Let's can vote rather. Let's say can vote. So we don't have to use the same variable name. Let's say can vote is equal to what? Now now this is where we now put our ternary operation. We'll now say, please guys, please take notes. I'm doing this. Okay, let me just finish the code first. I'll explain. So age now is greater than equal to 18, right? And then we have our question mark, and then we have the first word expression if true, which is yes, comma, you can what? You can vote. Yes, you can vote. And then column, we now have the second phrase or the second expression if it is false, which is what? No, you cannot vote, right? So no, you cannot vote. You cannot vote, right? So guys, and then we then come here and then say console.log. That's print out this can vote that we have here. Simple as that. Now, what I want to do now is that I want to actually look for this code, the former way it was, and then let's compare it. Let's look for that code where I wrote that code. Let's look for it. Okay. Now this is it. This is it. Control copy. Let's paste it close to this one we're working with. Now let me just call this the old code, right? And then I'll call the other one the new new code done by ternary operation. Okay guys, now let me paste this guy here. Good. Okay. Okay guys, now I want you to compare the two codes together. Now I said, now looking at these two codes guys, okay, let me just, what I will just do is that I will make them have the same variable name. So you get what I'm trying to do. So let's change this one to, we have variable person is, let's do the same thing. To copy, and let's change it. Okay, and then let's put that again. Let's change this one here. Okay. So the only difference is this particular variable can vote, right? Let me just bring that. Okay, good. Now guys, let's actually explain what this code is doing and the difference and why ternary operations are better than us writing the normal conditional statements. Now guys, first of all, we set a variable, right? Let me just change it to var. So it will be so similar. Okay, let me change it to var. So it will be very similar. We can also use less. Remember that you can use less and you can also use var, anyone you want. You can use const as well. Now we have these two codes, right? Of which we first of all set a variable and gave it a variable name of person age, which we also do here on the two code. And then okay, let me change this to what? To something 20 as well. Good. Now we create a variable and we give the variable a variable name of person age in the old code and same thing in the new code, right? And then we gave it a value of 20. That means the person's age is 20 here and it's 20 here, right? Good. Now in the first code, what we did, we made use of the if else statement to build our conditional. In the sense that we say that now the first condition is what? If the person's age is greater than or equal to 18, then it should print out this, right? And then or else if it is false, that means the person's age is less than 18, it should then print out this, right? Now coming to the new code, all you have to do, first of all, you create your variable just as you did here, right? Then create another variable of which you now call this can vote, and then we now came here. We now said now we now carry this whole thing, this thing here, this one here, that is the condition. Remember that this is our what? Our formula. Condition, which is this one. After that, we have a question mark, which we already put here, right? Then this place is what? Expression if true. So if this code, of course, if we have our if else statement, if this condition is true, it will print out this console.log, you are able to vote. Alright? And if it is false, to print out you are not able to vote. So now let's just do that. What do I do? What do we do? Right? We come here, let me just put the formula here so you guys understand what I'm trying to do. Let me just put the formula here so you get what I'm trying to do. Okay, now guys, just watch what I'm about to do. Let me just copy this one, copy, and then put it here again. Good. Let me call this one. Okay, now, okay, good. Let me continue from there. Now, first thing is that, first of all, the formula, this is the formula, guys. This is what I'm trying to do. The formula. Let me put it here. Right now we can see the formula, guys. Now we can see the formula. Now let's apply that formula into this particular code. Now remember, we said that the first thing we do is that we carry our condition. What is the condition? Condition is what? From here is what? If the person age is greater than equal to 18, so carry it here, and then put it here. This is, guys. Then after the condition is followed by what? A question mark, like we have here. Alright? Like we have there. Then after the question mark, what do we have next? We have if the expression is true. Like what do you want the the console to print if this condition is true. Of course, from this code, if this condition is true that we can see here, it will print out you are eligible to vote. So just carry it here, carry this particular string that you have here, carry it here, and then put it after your question mark that you have here. Okay, followed by your column. Column separates the true expression and the false expression. That means if the condition is true, the column separates the result you have if the condition is true, and the result you have if the condition is false. So this particular one now is the true condition. That means if this condition is true, it will print out you are eligible to vote. But this one, that's this column is but if it is false, you carry this one here, which is the false condition, and then place it here and put your semicolon after. It's that simple, guys. That's simple. That is the way we create what we call a ternary operation. It's this simple. So guys, now if I'm to actually carry this thing and put it on our browser, let me take this off. You see what will happen. Let me just complete and put it in our browser. Let me put it in our browser, guys. Control paste and then press enter. What happened, guys? You are eligible to vote. Now let me see you do the same thing for this other code and put it in our browser. Copy and control paste. You see, same thing. Now guys, these two codes, they are the same thing, but as you can see, guys, this code is at how many lines? It's line 1, right? Line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, and line 6. That's the old code is in 6 lines. But by using ternary operation, we're able to do the exact same thing in just 3 lines of code. You see, guys, line 1, line 2, and line 3. So it is a very, very effective shorthand of writing conditional statements in your code. See how neat it is. Just 3 codes, you're able to produce the exact same thing. So that is why you need to understand and you make use of ternary operation. This is how you can make use. But however, be cautious not to overuse it. Because when you are dealing with very complex conditions or with multiple statements, you need to actually be very, very careful. And it is best to use the traditional if-else statement so that it will be very clearer and more easier to understand. So whenever you are dealing with probably a very complex code or a very like plenty code, it's best to make use of this if-else statement if you are dealing with conditionals. But if you are dealing with something very simple that does not have too much complexity on it, then you can make use of what this ternary operation. Okay, now let's go back, let's continue. Now we also have what we call the switch statement, guys. Switch statement, switch statement, right? We also have what we call the switch statement, of which this statement allows you to execute different blocks of code based on the value of an expression. That means you can actually execute different blocks of code based on the value of that given expression. Alright? That is what switch statement is used for. It allows to execute different blocks of code based on the value of an expression. And it is useful when you have multiple conditions to check against a single variable. So if you have just one variable and you want to check it against different conditions, like multiple conditions, you make use of the switch statement. So now let's particularize what I mean by a switch statement. Let's go to our code and particularize that. Now, in order to make use of a switch statement, first thing you have to do is that you make use of the word switch. So SWITCH, switch, and then you have your expression inside of the brackets, expression, right? And then you then have your braces, of which you then have different cases. So you have case 1, case 2, and case 3. So case, which you have value 1, and then of which what we have, this is the code block. And then we have what code value 2, or that's equal to case value 2 of which we have what the another code block, and then we have the default value or default result, which is what we call the default code. So now guys, this is the formula for switch statement. This is the formula or the basic structure of a switch statement. The first thing you have, you make use of this word switch, right? So after the switch, you have your expression. Now this switch word initiates the statement, right? And then this expression you have here inside this base bracket is evaluated just once. Then this case you have, each case value, this case value 1 is going to check for a match with this expression, more like with this condition, right? So if you check for a match, if a match is found, then the corresponding block will display. That means whatever you put here will display. Then case 2 as well will also come here and check and compare with this expression that you have here. If it also match, the display you put here is going to display on your console. And if none of them, if case 1 and case value 1 and case value 2 does not match with the expression here, it will now give you the code you put here. This is just a basic, like the formula or what I will call the basic structure of the switch statement. All right, that is the basic structure of the switch. Now let's give an example, guys. So I believe you might be getting confused already. So let me just give an example so you get what I'm trying to say. Now coming here, guys, and let's give an example. Let's say we are trying to choose different fruits, or choose between which fruit we prefer in a fruit basket. All right, we're trying to make a choice on what to pick, on what type of fruit to pick. Right now, let's say let fruit is equal to what? Let's say apple. And then now applying the formula that we have there, we then say switch bracket fruit, right? And then our curly braces, we then say case. Now case value 1 is like say case, maybe we have a case of fruit banana, let me say banana, right? Case, let me say banana. Okay, that's a fruit, a type of fruit called banana. And then we then say colon, console.log what? You choose banana. Okay, let's put that in here. You chose what? You chose banana. Exclamation mark. And then let's do case 2, right? Then we'll now do break first of all. Okay, did I add break? Okay, I did not add break in my formal code. There's supposed to be a break, guys. There's supposed to be a break here. After the code block, there's supposed to be a break here. And then there's supposed to also be a break here. So after this console.log, we should have a break after it. So which the break should be here. Right? Then after case 1, we then have case 2. Case value 2, of which case 2 is say let's say it's the same apple, right? Sorry. Case 2 is the same what? The same what? The same apple, right? Then colon. Then if we choose apple, what happens? We then also say console.log, you chose Apple, right? You chose what? You chose Apple, exclamation mark, semicolon, and then we also have a break after this. Now I'll tell you as we go further, I'll tell you guys why we need a break. Why we always put break. That the reason why we put break. Now that break is very, very important. Okay? It's very, very important. So I'm going to tell you why we actually put break there. Alright. So after having defaults, guys, sorry, on having default, they will now say console.log. On default, console as print out print out this statement which says unknown or unknown fruit, right? Say unknown fruit. I mean, if you don't know the kind of fruit that you actually picked up, unknown, okay? So this is guys. Now let me explain actually what this whole thing, like what is happening. Now this is first of all, this is the what the will I say the formula of switch statement, alright? Now let's apply that formula into this scenario. Now guys, you are left with the option to choose what fruit you want. First of all, we give a variable and we call this variable fruit, and then give a value of apple, right? Now this switch statement that you are seeing, this switch that you are seeing here, checks each case against this variable of apple. Now, first of all, it will check this first case one, which is case value one, which is banana, right? It will check banana and apple. Now, guys, first of all, this fruit you are seeing here is already equal to apple. Now, is banana and apple the same thing? No, right? So it not log out this. Number two, now it now check is apple and this apple same thing. Yes, then to log out this, you chose apple. Then if on default, that means if it checks both banana and apple and none of them correspond with what is here, it's not print out unknown fruit. So if say I what was here was like orange, for example, of which it compared banana and apple. Now they are not the same, so it will not print out this. I compared orange and apple and they are also not the same, so it will not print out this. So therefore, it is now left to only print out this default phrase, which is unknown fruit. Do you understand, guys? Do you understand? So if none of the cases match, it would execute this default case. That is what would happen. So if I'm to put this code now on my console, guys, let's see what will actually happen. Let me copy and put it on my console. What happened, guys? It gave us unknown fruit because it has compared banana and apple, of which they are not the same, and compared orange and apple, of which are not the same. So it is now left to just give us the default value, which is what unknown fruit. But if I change this now to apple instead, of which if it compares apple and apple, they are the same thing, it will definitely give me what? Definitely give me you have picked apple, right? So if I'm to let me copy and paste this now, so I'm to change this now to apple. Change this to apple, right? And press enter. See now, it has given me you chose apple. So guys, this is basically the simplest way I could explain on how to make use of switch statement. Alright. This is how you make it of switch statement. Okay. So now guys, I want to tell you when should you make use of switch statement? You might be wondering, like, okay, no problem. Why should I make use of switch statement? Now they are particularly useful when you have multiple conditions to check against a single variable, of which your single variable is just this let fruit is equal to apple. This variable apple is checked against case one, case two, and what case three, which is on default. So this is a single variable. So you make it of switch statement if you are trying to check You are trying to check one variable against or as opposing different options. Alright, that is when you make use of switch statement. Okay, and also by making use of switch statement, you can make your code more organized and easier to read compared to long chains of if statements. That means that we can also rewrite this code, guys, by making use of if statement, but it is a lot faster and cleaner and better than just directly making use of switch statement as against the if else statement. Alright, so we can actually do the same thing using the if else statement, but it is a lot faster, cleaner and better to just use the switch statement because it is more straightforward. Okay, that's also another time to use your switch statement. Okay, so guys, to wrap up today's class, we have covered so many important things about advanced conditionals. We've learned about the truthy values and the falsy values, and we've also learned about the ternary operator as well as the switch statement. So I encourage you guys to always practice this concept in your coding project, right? Because understanding all these conditional statements and all these concepts will greatly enhance your programming skills. And I always say practice, 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 because practice makes perfect. All right. So in case you have any questions as regarding today's class, do also leave them in the comment section, and I'll make sure to reply them as soon as possible. Do have a great day, and thank you for joining me in today's class. See you in the next one. Happy coding.